Welcome to the 8-minute TrumpCare update from the Healthcare MBA at the University of St. Thomas. In this update, we're curating a range of stakeholder perspectives about the challenges and the opportunities facing us as we move from Obamacare to TrumpCare. So with us today, we have Susan Jepson from HCMC, and we're going to ask her the 5 questions that we ask all of our guests each week. So the first question, Susan, we ask is, from everything that's being discussed over the last few weeks about healthcare reform, what about that gives you hope?
Actually, nothing gives me hope at this point, and I hate to be so blunt about that, but what we've seen from the current bill that's been released is not hopeful. We have seen Trump, who actually promised a number of different things in regards to health care. The bill does not reflect that. And so I'm not very hopeful that he will stick to his promises and that we will see something hopeful going forward.
Okay. On the reverse side, what of the issues that are being discussed gives you most concern if you dig into that a little in depth?
There's a couple. I'm really concerned about how they're approaching Medicaid. Medicaid today and the expansion of Medicaid has been a huge success. That's really one of the reasons we've had such a large adoption of the people that have used the exchange. They've been able to actually get Medicaid coverage. But as you look at the bill going forward, it looks like it will deteriorate and they will start to cap that enrollment. And there is a fear that we'll actually lose a number of patients that are, members of Medicaid going forward. The second one is the whole idea of tax credits, and in particular for the individuals that are 50 to 64. They're anticipating that the premiums will go up probably 5 times as much, but that the tax credits will only be reflective to cover 3 times. And so there will be a gap, and again, that is going to cause a concern for that population.
And speaking from the perspective of HCMC, what impact would that have on your particular business?
So that's a really good point. We have 52% of our patients have Medicaid coverage, and that is the largest in the country when you look at safety net health systems, which we are one of. As we go forward, today actually we are not getting enough to cover the expenses for those patients based on the Medicaid reimbursement. And going forward, it could actually deteriorate more because of the whole idea of block grants for Medicaid. And so there is a real concern with that. And as a result, then you will see a deterioration in the actual health of our members.
Okay. And a lot of issues we've discussed that are top of the agenda and top of the conversation. What questions do you think are not being discussed enough and maybe probably should command more attention?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really important question. I think today we get caught up a lot in how we're going to pay for things when it comes to the health care delivery system. What we're discovering at Hennepin County Medical Center is that so much of this is about health. Health care is what the actual patient or member will get when they come in for their clinic visit, but there's all these other factors around, and we call them the social determinants of health, that actually impact that overall health. And so until we start looking holistically at what's happening with our population, the vulnerable population, we are just doing a Band-Aid approach. And so that's really where we should elevate the conversation, but we're not today.
And ending on a sort of more optimistic note, where do you see areas of opportunity, a big idea that might be bringing something to healthcare, may not solve all the problems in the world, but just an area that you're interested in that you think there's something really interesting going on there in healthcare?
Again, that's a really good question. I am part of an innovation group at HCMC, and we use human-centered design. And so we spend a lot of time with our patients, and our patients are telling us that it goes back to what I was saying about social determinants of health. They have a lot of issues with accessing social services like food, shelter, transportation, et cetera. And so we are actually looking at this idea of having a Siri-like service for social services. So if you think about it, at any point in time, our patients could access this tool, and it would be more of a self-referral tool for patients. So they would identify their own need, and then we could deliver in real time resources so that they could go to, if it's a shelter, if it's for food, food pantry, et cetera, or utility bills. And so they could go, they would know precisely within like a half-mile radius where would be the best place for them to go. So that's something that I think is pretty exciting as we look forward, because we're empowering those patients. Another thing that we're really looking at is this whole idea of housing. There's been a lot of studies about housing first in healthcare, and if you can stabilize housing, then the health of the individual will follow. And so we're actually looking at trying to form a consortium of health plans to look at that payment structure to combine the healthcare dollars with funding for housing.
Okay.
So that's it.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for joining us on our 8-minute TrumpCare update. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.